Hello, everybody. Hello to all of our beautiful members in the Ayurveda and Women's Health Sisterhood, and anyone who is watching or listening to this special student success story. Today, we have the ever so fun and beautifully bubbly Jen Parker, who is a self-sabotage and transformational business coach. She empowers female creators that feel anxious and caught up in their busy and want to up level without doing more. So Jen actually has a background as a social worker and a life coach, and she is now offering like a really holistic approach in her business as a self-sabotage and transformational coach by adding some of the Ayurvedic lifestyle elements into her coaching practice. So we're going to get all into that. But Jen, welcome.
Thank you so much, Harmony. So excited to be here and to chat all about Ayurveda and mindset and how amazing your program is. So exciting.
Well, likewise. I wanted to start off by asking you, now I've given a little debrief on what you do and who you are, but in your own words, specifically, what do you do, who do you serve, and what is the problem you solve? Because this is something we work out through the Ayurveda Alchemist program. We really try to see how we're going to help a certain niche of people that resonates with us and the business we want to create, and how we can use our Ayurvedic tools and our other tools. Like I said, you're already a social worker, you're already a life coach, you had all of these amazing tools to integrate, and I believe an integrative approach is the best approach for anything and everything. But what we really try to articulate is what we do, who we serve, and what problems we solve, because we do have so many different backgrounds often. So
yeah, well, first of all, thank you so much for the lovely introduction. So I am a self-sabotage mindset and transformational coach. So what does that actually mean? And when people say, look, I've done the mindset work, you continue to do the mindset because it's the one thing we need to learn how to program. You program your computer, you program your phone, you have all of these apps. And so we think at least, maybe more because we're women, 60 to 80,000, maybe a little bit less for men, let's be honest. And when we are more realistically, they're more in the negative, right? And when we are wanting to up level, we believe, especially as women, we have to do more, right? And so what happens is it's a self-sabotaging behavior of the busy, that I've got to do more to be more successful. And this comes from conditioning. This comes from what you are noticing and believing to be true in your eyes. And then you're wanting to go to the next level, but you're sabotaging because you're like, I don't want to go to the next level of success because I don't want to do more and burn myself out. So what I do is we basically go to not just the core root of where all of these ideologies and beliefs that stem around this belief of busy, but we also look at the imbalance. So, utilizing that Ayurveda wisdom to actually provide, the body, the mind, and the soul. So it is very holistic. So in my program that I support my clients to do is we go to the core root, but we look at the environment in which they're exposing themselves to. And if it's out of balance, there might be little tweaks that they can do, right? We need to do that. So then the next step of my program is really that thrive and embody the vision. So we all want to jump to the good stuff. Like we all have this thing of like, we don't want to feel pain and we don't want to feel it, but it keeps showing up unless we know what's going on. We understand the behaviors that are happening, and we are unconsciously doing a lot of self-sabotage, right? We're human beings, so being kind to ourselves. So what I'm using is mindset, years of experience of actually understanding human behavior. So that's really important to understand. I haven't just done coaching, I have also come from a very long background. I feel a little bit old saying that, but a wealth of expertise to really get to that core root of what's going on. Because if we truly want to go up to the next level, the busy is a coping mechanism that we use, and it is a very Vata, out of balance. But I've met people who have a very Vata mind because they're very visionary and creative. And that's what we treat. We look at whatever is the presenting issue and then present that and treat that. And then we can do the deep mindset work. And then we can go through the tools and the rituals and the success codes and all of those delicious things as well.
Amazing. So amazing. And I think you brought up a really important point. And that point was, we often want to do more because we think that's going to get us more. And I have realized this the hard way. I have been in complete burnout for just doing all of the things, doing more, trying to get ahead, trying to do more, trying to be more. But really, when we look at it and we really want to make a deeper impact in our own life, and as a health coach or practitioner or healer, we want to make deeper impact in other people's lives, we really need to simplify in order to amplify those results for ourselves and our clients. So it's so important to really look at that and where this sort of busyness is coming from. And as you mentioned, from like an Ayurvedic perspective, like the Vata dosha really governs that central nervous system, and it can govern the mind and all of the accumulation of thoughts and the anxiety and the stress that comes with that. But then the Pitta dosha also helps to process those thoughts. So it's really taking that holistic approach. So can you speak a little bit more about how you have been able to weave this Ayurvedic wisdom into your business, even as a business coach for people who need help with those self-sabotaging behaviors and the busyness?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I really like about Ayurveda is actually the philosophies, like understanding the philosophies, understanding the different elements as well. So what I mean by that is, before we can do the deep work, it's going to keep showing up. It's going to keep showing up. And so it's such a practical way. Diets don't work. So many people go, oh, I'm not happy, I'm going to go and lose weight. My focus is really looking at how the busy is presenting to you, right? And we're not just looking at how the mind has manifested that in the body, and just providing some very simpler ways we can do that, which you only know if you've studied the Ayurveda to really understand. And then we go into the deep work of the mindset work as well. So in terms of how I integrate it, it's really using the Ayurveda as a consultation to see what is the presenting issue that's going on for them, and then providing, different, rituals, or looking at, nutrition and things like that have, honestly, they've transformed my clients' lives. I had a client who experienced a very overactive mind. So getting to sleep for her was really hard. And so she, would really struggle to get to sleep, go to bed late, wake up feeling really tired and exhausted. So we addressed the imbalance for her, and, just putting some things in place, which didn't, took time. And then she was able to, now she's meditating, her mind has, isn't so manic, and now she's in more of that creative flow and visionary, and she's doing amazing in her business. So by looking at that first, then we were able to look at, okay, what's presenting to you? What are the behaviors that are showing up for you? So yeah, we sort of, how I use the Ayurveda is, using that to sort of see where people might be out of balance or doing certain things, just to bring them back a little bit. That's how I use it as a mindset and transformational coach.
Beautiful. And it would individualize your method even more so by being able to understand from an Ayurvedic perspective the different doshas that are playing out in this person as well. So another question I wanted to ask you is, a lot of women that come into the Ayurveda Alchemist program, they're already experts in some field, and generally it's within the health field. Not all of them, but most of them are existing health coaches, life coaches, health practitioners of some sort, yoga, fitness, Pilates instructors, or healers, and they come in from a business background. Again, that's not everyone. Some people are starting their business from scratch as an Ayurveda holistic health coach. But I'd love to know from your experience, because you did have a business already, what has been your biggest challenge as a business owner to really step into your power and become that entrepreneur that you want to become?
Yeah, I think what people don't understand is that the learning phase. I think we were just talking about this moments ago, and I was having conversations with another friend of mine about this, is we underestimate how much learning is required for having a business. And that's not to put people off or anything. It's just understanding that people are undervaluing the importance of learning, and they're looking at people who are sharing maybe a methodology that worked for them 20 years ago. Like, honestly, things have changed. And so you're looking at your today comparing to their, years and years that they've been doing this type of work. So what I think the biggest struggle that I find is, a lot of the time you're doing things for firsts, right? You're doing things for firsts, and you're comparing, you're unintentionally, or you're comparing yourself to someone's beautifully created social media handle. Yeah, they've come from a background of marketing, or they've come from a background of doing amazing graphics or messaging or being able to, or sales, So sometimes we've really got to understand that there is no comparison as well.
So true. And I think,
sorry, I just saw one of my children at the window waving.
Mum life, entrepreneurship.
Mum life. And sometimes mum life can be challenging, but it's always going back to your why. Like, why did I do this? And, being immersed. So I think something that you've got to be prepared is the investment that you've got to do. You've got to invest in trainings to learn the skills and knowledge so you can be the best in your field. And you also have to be, investing, I believe, in coaches and mentors. Because if you are just if you're expecting people to invest, say, $4,000 to $10,000, and you're not doing that yourself, you're going to find that you get a lot of resistance, because you're not actually, you've got to walk the walk. You've got to talk the talk. You've got to be willing to do that. And it is a journey as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think it's really important just to note here is having those realistic expectations. So if you are new to business and you've graduated as, say, an Ayurveda holistic health coach, and you step out into the world of entrepreneurship, that it does take some time to build up that clientele. And it's 100% possible, because I've seen my graduates and my students absolutely thrive and flourish and have their dream businesses. I've done it myself from scratch, from nothing. So it's 100% possible, but we've got to have that realistic expectation that it's not straight off the cuff. And as we were speaking of before we hit record, was that, you go to uni and you do a 4-year degree. You can't expect to know everything in the first 6 months. And that's the same as business. Like, give yourself time to grow and to expand and to get that support around you. And I think that's one of the the things that stands out the Ayurveda Alchemist program to the other ones is we go through all of the, the health training so that you can become those really high quality health holistic coaches. But we also do add in the business modules so that we can help support you get that kickstart, get your business off the ground. And if you're an existing business owner, we show you new ways to bring in all of your skills and work out a unique methodology for you that is going to speak to your ideal niche, your ideal clients, and get them the holistic results that they're after, the reason that you're doing the program. So I do think it is like about having some really realistic expectations set. And we do some one-to-one work in the program as well, so that we can speak you through this and help you personally with your business. But then having someone like Jen to support you with your mindset, and as a business owner and entrepreneur, self-sabotaging behaviors are always going to come up. It's that fear state that we get in when we're doing something amazing, but, we're worried because we have so much weight on wanting it to work or whatever it might be for you. And it's really important to work through the mindset stuff. And even in the program, like one of our core modules is Ayurvedic psychology. And another core module itself is understanding limiting core beliefs and how they work, and how you can get your clients from a limiting belief state to an empowered belief state so that they can actually heal their body. Because if you're trying to heal from a disempowered state, it's not going to work too well. I mean, you can heal, but it's going to take a lot longer if you can really use your mind set to excel you on that journey as well. So Jen, you've spoke about your challenges as a business owner. So thank you so much for sharing those. What is your biggest win as being a entrepreneur and a mom entrepreneur?
Yeah. Well, I think at times it can be, it feels like a challenge of having the kids home and working, but you building. I think the biggest thing is that I'm creating the business and the life that I desire. And that I'm creating what I want. I get to work with people I want. I didn't always have that choice in my career. I worked with people who really didn't want my help. They would be, very, very, very challenging, very difficult to work with. And so the most rewarding thing is I get to choose who I work with. I don't choose to work with everyone, right? And so I get to choose who I work with and how I make an impact, and that I can work, around my family, which has its ups and downs, because I can hear that they're home, but that's the reality. Like that's what I went into business to be able to do, and to be more present when I'm with them. And in the times that I'm not with them, I'm fully, focused. And we all get distracted. We all self-sabotage, right? We all do it. And so it's looking at your productivity when you're most productive. So for me, it's really just about maximizing my time so I can support my clients as well.
Amazing. Yeah. And what is one of the biggest mindset shifts that you've had to make going into business for yourself? You said that as a social worker, you didn't always have the choice of the type of people that you were working with, and now you're working with your soul aligned clients. So what was that mind shift that had to get you from being there to here?
Oh my gosh, so many. Picking one. I mean, I think it's we really are responsible for our reality. The sooner you can take radical responsibility of what's happening, even if you're perceiving that you're not having the desired outcomes you have, and just see it as that learning phase, or see it as, what is this teaching me? Because a lot of the time we go through something so we can, and we fully understand what that learning is, so we can support our clients, right? So I think the biggest thing is like how we all perceive our reality very differently. We all perceive our reality, but we have to take that radical responsibility of our life, or we're just going to be stuck in blame. And, we've just got to take every single thing we do, radical responsibility, so we can get the desired outcomes that we desire in our life and in our business. Yeah.
Amazing. Beautiful wisdom there, Jen. Love that. What is actually some of the best business advice that you have received?
Keeping it simple, right? We are told, or we believe, that we've got to be on all these platforms. So the coach that I have now, she's taught me about simplicity, really simplifying, instead of having all these hundreds of things, and being so clear about your messaging. People go, you're known as that. And sometimes I'm reading people's things and I'm like, I think that's what they do, because they'll share a meme. So they're not even showing their own stuff. And you're like, I think that's what they do, but it's not really clear. So I think the biggest thing is simplicity, and just simplifying your message and saying that again and again and again, like I do with self-sabotage and the busy, and you become the expert in that. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. And finally, I would love to ask you, what advice would you give other coaches and practitioners and healers who want to create deeper impact and connect to a higher purpose through their business?
Yeah. So I think we've got to understand that when you are a business owner and as an entrepreneur, it is the biggest journey. And I think we can really associate with, sometimes we're planting seeds. So we've got to understand about, it's like harvesting, and we're farmers, we're harvesting these seeds of what is important for us. And we just have to understand that we've got to plant those seeds of our ideas and really nourish and look after those in each day. But the most important thing is actually, the more you look after yourself, things flourish. And we feel like it's a bit of fluff. But if you wake up and you've got, a good firm ritual or morning routine, and you feel good and you feel inspired and you're ready to do those things, then you can do those tasks that you're like, oh my gosh, I've got to do tax, or I've got to do whatever it is, right? You're able to do that in a better, clear mindset. And so whatever is coming your way, because there's always going to be things coming, if you're in a different mindset and you're feeling differently, it's just, it's a very, different energy.
Beautiful. And for anyone considering becoming an Ayurveda alchemist and joining us in the program, what words or what was your experience? What would you like to share?
Yeah. So Harmony was actually interviewing me on her podcast. And at that time, my messaging was all about, prioritizing self and everything. And, you started talking about, you hadn't launched it there. You were sort of talking about the Ayurveda alchemist. I'm like, that sounds so cool. And I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty cool, right? She wasn't selling to me. And I was like, oh, this is actually really cool. This has been around for thousands of years. Wow. So, okay, I'm going to do it. So my soul was like, yeah, let's do it. So it was very quick. And, I saw her link and I was like, okay, I'm just going to look at, so what a great deal, look what I'm going to get. And so, I paid in full, ready. And, go for it. Don't hold back. Go for it. And this is such a great thing, because no matter what type of coach you are, you have to understand, people. And this is just I found Ayurveda just such a beautiful, and what I was really intrigued is the philosophies and the psychology that was, for me, that and how things operate and function and interact with each other. For me, that's what I like. And each person who's coming in is going to be very different, but that was phenomenal. And my soul was like, yes, I'm ready for this.
Amazing. Yeah, I remember you saying I'm just like a hell yes. My soul said yes before my head, and I'm all in. And I'm so grateful that you did join us, because you were so much fun to have in the program. And I just, yeah, love watching you grow through the program as well. And I think the feedback that I've got from the ladies who have been through it is they had such a personal transformation as well as a business transformation. And I think that is really important to me, because I'm all about, if you're going to be in the health world and a practitioner, you really want to embody the practice that you teach, and you really want to feel it and understand it deeply for yourself before you go and do that for everybody else. And so taking you through the process of Ayurveda Alchemist, it really helps you embody the Ayurvedic principles and practices yourself, because we have embodiment tasks. So you do it. And so there's a huge personal transformation as well as a business transformation. And it's just so beautiful to see all of the women go through that throughout our time together. And Jen, I know, yeah, obviously that you would love the psychology part. It's all part of the mindset and what you do and how you infuse it all, but you really excelled beautifully in all the physical aspects and the other scientific sort of aspects of Ayurveda as well. So yeah, congratulations with all of that. And I know that you do have an offer as well for anyone who is facing sort of some mindset issues with self-sabotage in their business.
Yeah. So the mastermind that I offer is called Becoming Unstoppable, and that's really about what I'm teaching women. So as women, we sometimes the first phase is learning to become that unstoppable force, because you have a self-construct and a belief that you don't believe in yourself, or that you've got to hustle and you've got to be busy. And so really, if we want to up level, we have to have a support to get there. So in my mastermind, it's the first part is how to reprogram our mind. And that's about releasing the stories that are no longer serving you. It's doing the Ayurveda as well. So that's using a one-on-one consultation with me and going deeper into that. And then we go into, thrive and embody your vision. And that's where we look at, success codes and rituals that are really going to amplify where you want to be in your business and in your life, without feeling like you've got to compromise who you are as a person. So it's very tailored, it's group coaching, but it's also one-on-one. And I've been in a lot of programs and they just don't offer that. So it's very personalized. And when people pay in full, they get a whole month free, and the prices, so they want to book before next month, before the prices will, like a price increase next month. But yeah, it's phenomenal, and I'm so excited to welcome all the ladies who come on board.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Jen, for sharing your experience as an entrepreneur and a complete amazing student success story from the Ayurveda Alchemist. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your inspiration with us all today.
Thank you for everything. You've just truly an amazing teacher and mentor, and everything that you're doing to support women and really looking at a very different way of doing things. So that wouldn't have been possible without you. And your program is just phenomenal, and so much support and so many different things and resources to really help you as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.